I just saw Netflix's JuOn Origins and I have a few thoughts. Netflix released JuOn Origins on 3rd July, and after the shitstorm that was the Grudge 2020, this series really needed some fresh work. Remember the 2020 Grudge with its mountain of terrible jump scares, boring cliches, and just vomit-inducing storytelling? There's none of that in JuOn Origins. What we have instead is an unsettling and well-paced 6-episode horror series. What Chris Nolan's Batman Begins did for the dying Batman movies, JuOn Origins does for the Grudge. So why is this show worth a watch? Let's find out. The series follows 5 families, most of them couples, across different timelines set in the 90s. Like the original Grudge, it has very non-linear storytelling, and for the first time since the 2002 JuOn, it's packed with some very effective and very disturbing scares. Right off the bat, before you watch this show, you will need a trigger warning because it's got some very traumatizing, horrific shit that happens. And I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I'm just telling you up front that you will need to go in with a little bit of caution. We start JuOn with a paranormal researcher called Yasuo. He's watching a news show he was on earlier with our other central character, Haruka Hanjo. She says she's been experiencing some unusual things like hearing footsteps and voices in her house at night, pretty fairly standard horror sounding stuff. And Yasuo is like, I smell a mystery. And what's the connection with the Grudge series with all of this? Well, obviously it's the cursed house. What else would it be? So the rest of the 6 episodes focus on Haruka and Yasuo and approximately 10 other people who all colossally fuck up their lives by either moving to the cursed house or just coming into contact with it at some point. While the original movies had the ghost or the curse just killing those who came into contact with it, the show has the victims suffering over a really prolonged period of time before eventually dying or disappearing. And the suffering goes to some very real, very unsettling places. I'm talking about stuff like domestic violence, abuse, and a lot worse, which haunts the characters all through their lives once they come into the contact with the curse. It's not like the ghost kills them immediately. Now this is where JuOn Origins really sets itself apart from the other Grudge movies or many other commercial horror films. Maybe because the medium is Netflix, the producers have gone all out on the disturbing stuff. There's scenes that I can't even discuss because they're so horrific, and most of them would only have been possible on a platform like Netflix or if it was an independent film like the original 2000 JuOn. So we see a number of disturbing stuff happen to the characters, including in one scene where a telephone is found inside a person. And I'm not talking about a cell phone. I'm talking about a full landline phone that's found inside a person. The only movie in the series that's even come close to this remotely was the original 2000 JuOn, where, if you remember, there's a scene where Takeo, the father, is walking around carrying a fetus in a bag. And it's a garbage bag. Yeah, really classy shit. But keep one thing in mind. Don't go into this show expecting clear answers or resolutions. Like the original movies, there's a lot of stuff that will be left unanswered or open-ended. And this is something I've noticed in Japanese storytelling. Time travel, dimension jumps, they're all acknowledged as part and parcel of regular life. And this is a common trait in several Japanese horror mediums, in manga, stories, and even their movies. Where the West usually has us begging for answers and closure, the Japanese go the other way, usually leaving it all open-ended and up to your interpretation. And given how many American horror movies are just garbage, I think they could take some lessons from their Japanese counterparts. Now, JuOn Origins leaves you feeling thoroughly unsettled, and the last episode where it all comes together is definitely worth the build-up of the first 5 episodes. Till the last episode, I'll be honest, I thought I'd give this show just a slightly average review, but after the last episode I will definitely have to say it's well above average. But keep in mind that the disturbing factor comes a lot from the physical nature of what you're seeing and not just a fear of a ghost. But there are a few very effective scares, and these are not jump scares per se, but they are jump scares which make you feel scared even after they're done. And that's a mark of a good scare, because mostly the jump scare, as you know, the tension builds up to a certain point, and once it breaks, it's done. You're like, okay, it's over, so what now? But in this show, they get to the point of the scare, and after that, you're still uncomfortable and you feel like, I want this to stop. So, long story short, if the aim was to pump fresh blood into the Grudge series and give it some more life, and maybe take it back to its roots, this series has done that very well. Now, should you watch it? Well, if you're a fan of the Grudge series, give it a watch, definitely. But if you're a general horror fan, you might want to watch it, but with company, because it's not exactly light viewing. And JuOn Origins gets a solid 3 on 5 from me. And that's it for this review. I will see you guys soon, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the video. And also I'll be putting out more horror stories in the coming days. So if you like that, don't forget to check that out, and I will see you in the next video.